Should already know this by now, but remember, when you see the pause symbol, pause. There's, I think, 3 pause symbols on this, so there's a few times you should pause to take your notes. If you don't need to pause because you take your notes, go on to the rest of the presentation. The objective. The student will be able to convert fractions. This will be done through presentation and classroom activity. So when I talk about converting fractions, we're actually converting fractions to decimals and percentages and back and forth. So you need to know how to reduce fractions. So if you have not seen the last video on reducing of fractions, the second part of this is going to be pretty hard. So before you go any farther, if you didn't watch the other video, go back, watch the last video, and then you can start watching this video because it'll make a lot more sense. What you know, or what you should know. So what you should know is a dollar. This is one whole dollar. It's an awesome dollar. So if we take this dollar, and in a second we're going to cut this dollar in half. Where is it? Where is it? There you go. We have 2 halves because 1 half on the left and 1 half on the right, 1 part over 1 whole, which also equals 50 cents. If you have 50 cents, it equals a dollar. So you should know this. Just like if I was to cut that bill into fourths, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, you've cut that up. Now, if you have 1/4 of that bill, so you have a quarter. So 25%, 25 cents. A quarter is 25 cents, 0.25. They all mean the exact same thing. So now I'm going to show you in a second why this is what it is with converting from fractions to decimals. So I'm going to convert your fraction to a decimal, and you'll see how this 25 cents really is a quarter of a dollar. So first, we'll start with a half. 1 half equals 50 cents. We know that. We just said half a dollar bill is 50 cents, something you've been known for a while. So I'm going to do is I'm going to drop down that 1 half because I'm going to show you 1 half equals 1 divided by 2. Again, you should know this. This is something we talked about earlier. And if we want to put in division forms, the 2 goes outside the house and the 1 goes inside the house. So let's reset this problem up, and I'm going to solve it for you. So in a second, you're going to have the problem solved. So we have 1 divided by 2. And remember, 2 can never be divided by 1. So that's why we put that 0 up there. Remember, if we add a decimal, we can add zeros on forever and ever and ever. So now we have 10. 2 goes into 10 5 times, so we have 0.5 as our answer. So that's why the fraction decimal of equivalent of 1 half is 0.5. So in a second, we're going to do 1/4. 1/4 is equal to 0.25. So I'm going to work out this problem in a minute, but let's show this exact same thing how we did a minute ago. We take that 1/4, we'll drop it down. 1/4, if we look at our division problem, is the same as 1 divided by 4. Because 1/4 and 1 divided by 4 is the same thing. So 4 goes outside the house, and 1 goes inside the house. So let's move this guy up to the top of the screen so we can see it better. So 4 divided by 1. So again, 4 can never go into 1 evenly. So what we need to do is we need to take it, and then we have to add that decimal and add zeros on forever and ever, as many as we need. So 4 goes into 10 8 times, so 4 goes into 10 2 times, so we put the 8, then we subtract the 2 and worked our way down, but here's the work for the problem right over here. That's why 1/4 is equal to 0.25. We're going to be doing some activities with this in class tomorrow, so basically we're just using the number, we put it into a division problem, and when you already know how to solve for a decimal. So here's the first pause slide. If you need to go back and take any notes for those last 2 examples, go back and take any notes. If you don't need to take any notes, that's fine. Just go on with the rest of the presentation and you guys will be okay. Converting decimals to fractions. So now we went one way, we have to know how to bring it back to the other way. So this isn't very hard, but again, this is what we're saying you need to know how to reduce because we have 0.25. So 2/100ths. So what do we do with this number, 0.25, if we want to turn it back into a fraction? So you guys should know from lessons, this is a long time ago, reading decimals, the first one was tenths, the second was hundredths. So hundredths is the last number. 100 sounds like hundredths. So they're basically similar in one way, and you're going to find out in a second what we're going to do is since we have hundredths, we're going to take that number and put it over 100 because they sound similar. That's the best way. Sound similar, put it over that. So now we eliminate the point because we don't need that anymore. So now we have 25 over 100. And if we reduce, like we learned basically yesterday's video, it's equal to 1/4. So the next thing on this one, 0.5. 0.5 or 5/10ths. So remember tenths with the THS because it's to the right of the decimal point. 5/10ths, 10 sounds like tenths. So since they sound similar, that's what number we're going to use. We're going to put this over 10. So in a second, you're going to see 0.05 over 10. So we don't need that 0.0, or the 0 point. So we're going to get rid of that, and it'll be just 5 over 10. So let's wait for it to catch up to me. Okay, 5 over 10. And now, again, like before, we have to reduce. So if you don't know how to reduce, you should have watched that other video. 5 over 10 is reduced down to 1/2 because 5 goes into 5 once and 10 goes into 5 and 5 goes into 10 twice. So 1/2 is our answer. So make sure you watch that reduction video because you won't be able to do these unless you reduce. So here's your chance to pause again. If you need to go back and take any notes on that last part, go back and take whatever notes you need to. If you don't need to take any notes, you're good to go on to this next part, converting decimals into percentage. Another pretty easy concept. We're doing 3 kind of easy concepts today, but I guess the first one can be a little bit hard, but this one's really easy. So all we do is we take that decimal and we move it over 2 points. Well, that seems kind of easy. So a quarter would actually be, we move it over the 2 points. So the decimal is now at the end. So now we have, instead of 0.25, we have 25, not 0.25, we have 25. We add a percentage sign, we get rid of the 0, our answer is 25%. So 0.25 is the same as 25%. So this next one, 0.06. 0.6. So we move it over 2. We have to add a 0 because it doesn't make any sense to not have that 0 there because we have to move over 2 places. So now we have 0.60. So we're going to probably drop that decimal in a second. So we drop the decimal. We'll add the percentage sign, and we'll take away the 0. So 0.6 is equal to 60%. So we're going to have another one come up, 0.3. So again, all we do is move that decimal place over twice, and 0.3 is equal to 3%. And the last one, what happens if we have a bigger number, like, where are you? It should be coming up. Yeah, there he goes, 1.55. 1.55, so would equal 155%. That's not too much to it. So that's how you convert it. You just move the decimal place over twice. Don't overthink it. Just move it over to the right twice. This last pause symbol you're going to see, and then I'm going to recap what we've been doing. And then after I recap, you're basically good to go after you hear the objective. So to recap, where is my recap screen? Recap. You learned 3 things today. First, you should have already known how dollar works, and dollars, 1/4 of a dollar equals a quarter, but basically you should know how to convert a decimal to a fraction to a decimal, and a decimal to a percent. And since you know those 3, I might say on the worksheet tomorrow or whatever we do next, hey, you need to convert this decimal to this percent to a fraction. So you're going to have to know back and forth both ways. But the objective, the student will be able to convert fractions. This will be done through a presentation and classroom activities. So